Listen, I know why you clicked this video. Let's get straight into it. You want to see a strength-only playthrough of Diablo 2 Resurrected on hardcore. Let's see if I can get this done. My name is Z, and welcome to the Dark Chronicles of Diablo. So I take into consideration and add to my growing list of content ideas all of your suggestions. Stofsk here wanted me to do a melee playthrough, only putting points into strength. He called it a Titan playthrough, which sounded epic, so I went and made a Fury Druid. I'll be doing this playthrough with only points into strength. No dexterity, no vitality, and definitely no energy, but who needs that anyway? I went to create my character and I asked my wife, what should I name a strength-only Fury Druid? She didn't know what a Fury Druid is, but she said, if he's all strength, his name should be Brawny. So here we go. I know what you're thinking about the paper towel brand, but we're talking about straight muscle, son. Alright, yeah, you get it. The Druid starts with 15 strength, and this will allow us to wear gear and hit harder. They start with 20 dexterity, which improves attack rating and gives chance to block. This is also what's used for many weapon types, so the dexterity will be a limiting factor in what we can use, and it's going to stay at the base of 20 for the entire run. Druids start with 25 points into vitality, and it will stay at base vitality until either I die or Hellbale dies, whichever comes first. The energy will stay at 20 the entire run, but I won't need that stat anyway as I'm melee. Every single point will go into strength when I level up, from level 1 to whatever level it takes to finish this challenge. The rules of the challenge are simple. Every stat point will go into strength. I must play hardcore, and I must find all of my own gear. I set the game to Players 8 difficulty and leave the rogue encampment to get some easy levels. The skills I'll be using are fairly straightforward. Werewolf is a level 1 skill which gives you 25% extra life and gives you attack rating and increased attack speed per skill point. Lycanthropy is another level 1 skill which increases the duration of your shape-shifting skills by 20 seconds and grants 5% increased life per skill point. This will be useful as I can't put points into vitality and will need life to come from somewhere. I smash enemies in early Act 1 and get level 6. This allows me to use the skill Oak Sage. Oak Sage is a spirit that follows around and gives you and the party bonus life. This will be extremely useful to get my life total up. It gives 30% life on the first skill point and an additional 5% life per level. I will max this eventually. Searching for gear, I will need to keep all rubies as these give life when socketed into a body armor or a helm. Gaining life will enable me to survive longer, and I'll need to get life through skills and gear pieces since I can't use stats. I hit level 12 and I put a point into Feral Rage. Feral Rage gives faster run walk per level and a bunch of life leech to allow me to keep my life higher without using as many potions. This skill will be useful throughout the playthrough for sure. I continue farming Countess to level up my druid. I'm looking for a Tal rune and an Eth rune so I can make the Stealth rune word. This is the best in slot armor for 90% of builds at level 17. The faster hit recovery, faster run walk, faster cast rate, and extra dexterity and poison resist are very welcomed. I used my small stash of gold to gamble some two-handed axes. I gamble a rare axe that will work for now. Made my way to Indariel to pimp slap her back in the last Sunday. She went down super quick and easy, and I didn't lose much life. Of course, she dropped me nothing useful since I was rude to her. Alright. I headed to Act 2, and I got an Act 2 mercenary. I grabbed the Blessed Aimed Aura one for extra attack rating so I can hit targets easier. I grabbed the cube in the Halls of the Dead, ran back, slammed Radamant for the skill point, and gambled some two-handed mauls. Two-handed mauls and two-handed axes require very little to no dexterity and a lot of strength, so these will be my primary weapons for this playthrough. I grabbed the Staff of Kings from the Big Bug, grabbed the amulet from the snakes, and slapped my paw across the summoner's face. Duriel, the Lord of Pain, was my first challenge. He kills my mercenary fairly quickly, and I'm doing decent damage to him. I get my mercenary back and end up finishing the fight without too much of a problem. I head out of Act 3 and grab Kalim's eye in the spider cavern. Cesark the Burning didn't burn me to a crisp, which is nice. My Gidbin reward was this crappy ring that I sold back to Ormus. I decimated Witch Doctor Ndugu and got Kalim's brain in the Flayer dungeon. And I ran down to the sewers level 2 and grabbed Kalim's heart. Normal mode Travincal didn't get too scary. I pulled the council members out carefully a few at a time and kept Feral Rage up while using potions. At this point, my damage is very good and they don't really stand a chance. This will be a theme for much of normal mode. I ran down to the Durance of Hate level 3 and engaged in a fight with Mephisto. He's able to kill my mercenary very quickly, but I beat him up pretty easily. He didn't drop anything juicy either. I'm not getting great boss loot. At this point, my health is almost at 300, which is kinda low, but I'm not able to put any points into vitality. I got to Act 4, dumped all my gold into gambling like a true addict, got these sick gloves which gives fire resist, poison resist, and some magic fine. The Frost Nova chance is actually pretty good for some crowd control as well. I found Iswal in the Plains of Despair, and he was extremely easy like always. This fight is almost a guaranteed win in all difficulties. I've never died to Iswal on a hardcore playthrough, knock on wood. He has a shit ton of health, but he hits like a newborn kitten. I start getting twitchy again and need to scratch the gambling itch, and I gamble this sick maul with 46% enhanced damage, 5% mana leech, and some minimum damage. The Diablo fight in normal is probably one of the toughest of the hardcore playthroughs. I didn't want to fight Diablo quite yet, and I farmed Mephisto for a few runs. I found a unique mace, which is Crush Flange. This mace is amazing for fighting Diablo, as it has Crushing Blow and lots of fire resistance. With my newfound weapon,
not even death can save you from these nuts.
Yo, Diablo, what the hell? Anyway, I smack him around and he drops some set items which I will not be using. Let's move on to the final act in normal, shall we? I leave Haragith feeling pretty solid. I'm running my way up the bloody foothills and my goal is to get to my best friend Eldritch. I farm Eldritch for quite a few levels and get level 30, which unlocks Fury, my main skill. This gives me a lot of damage, attack rating, and attack speed. I also found a soul rune and, oh my god, a unique maul. My dudes, I found a fucking bone snap on normal Eldritch. This weapon is godly as hell for playthroughs. This one rolled 224% enhanced damage and 40% crushing blow with dual resist. Yo, I realized that I got a flawless emerald from the Hellforge and go back to Act 1 and farm for a gem shrine. I go to Larzik, put a socket in my bone snap, drop a shale rune in. I use my soul rune that I found on Eldritch with my new perfect emerald and a Ral rune to upgrade my bone snap from a maul to a war club, which is an exceptional base. This nearly doubles the damage it does. This is absolutely an insane power spike at this stage of the game. Get this, in the Frozen River, I get level 5 Fury, which unlocks the 5 hits, and now I'm swinging my Wolf Dong around like I own the place. Speaking of Wolf Dong, I rescue Anya, and I'm pretty sure she's into me. But I'm a gentleman and politely reject her, as I need to tend to more important matters, like killing the prime evils. She gives me an amazing Druid Helm reward, and if I were an elemental druid, could you imagine getting a +3 to Tornado, 20 life helm in normal mode? It kind of pisses me off because I'm playing a melee build, and it's wasted, but I get over myself and move on. I fight the normal ancients and the fight goes as easily as you think it does. This gets me to level 38, which is more than strong enough to kill Bale. Speaking of which, this is normal Bale, and he is absolutely easy to kill. I absolutely steamrolled him, and I absolutely have said absolutely too many times. He dropped a unique Gladius, which is Bloodletter, and I end normal mode with 323 life, a bunch of damage, heavy dose of self-loathing. This strength only crap is nuts. The Terror Zone ended up being Worldstone Keep. I don't know how I got that lucky. And I grinded Bale in the Worldstone Keep a bunch to get some easy levels. Some trash mobs in the throne room dropped Saigon's gloves. These will be useful later, as I know the 2-set bonus on these is 30% increased attack speed. I just need to find another piece. I farm Eldritch some more on players 8 and another Bone Snap drops. This one has higher enhanced damage, but I already wasted the socket quest, and I don't want to upgrade this one. Alright my dudes, I am entering Nightmare. I'm level 47 with decent damage. My fire resistance is maxed, lightning resistance is at 17%, cold resistance is at 20%, and I have negative 1% poison resist. I'm up to 250 strength and only 368 life. I need to fix that if I'm going to survive till the end of the game. I found a random 3-socket Falcon mask and threw the highest rubies that I had into it. This came out to be 79 life, and I throw it on. With my new helmet and shapeshifted, I'm up to 552 life with a few levels mixed in. I kill Rakanishu in Nightmare, and he drops a rare amulet with 12 resist all, 4 minimum damage, and 4 integer damage reduction. I gamble a ton of rings because I'm still a junkie, and find a cool ring that has 94 attack rating, 3 to 4 additional damage, cold resistance, half freeze duration, and some magic find. I save Kane, he's ungrateful like always. Then I find 2 magic amulets that blew my mind. Dude, I don't know what the odds of this happening is, but the 2 amulets have similar roles. One was 4% mana leech with 9% magic find, and the next one was 4% mana leech with 12% magic find. Absolutely wild. I'm not using these, but it's still a pretty cool opportunity. I start farming Nightmare Countess like it's my job. I find an Io rune and a Soul rune along with various other low runes. I smashed Nightmare and Dariel, and she drops nothing great for me as always. Thanks a lot, Andy. I get to Act 2. I trade in my Blessed Aim Mercenary for a Holy Freeze one. I figured the safety of slowing everything around me would be more beneficial than more damage. Safety first, especially when you have low life totals. Plus, it's my favorite dude, Durga. How could I say no? I miss the Countess, so I farm her some more. I make an Ancient's Pledge for my swap setup. I get back to Act 2, and in the Maggot Lair, I run into a brick wall of beetles. There's seriously like 20 beetles in this damn room. Absolutely unnecessary. I grab the staff from Coldworm the Burrower and make my way to the Lost City. On the way, I pick up a magic amulet which ends up rolling plus 20 resist all, which is a nice upgrade. I have a disagreement with Fangskin and he's not seeing things my way. I decide I'm going to split his nuts from his head to the back of his ass and grab the amulet and run. In the tombs, I find a 2-socket lance which will be a nice upgrade for my mercenary. I make the strength rune word, which will give him some life leech, strength, vitality, and most importantly, crushing blow for boss fights. Speaking of boss fights, I jump down into Tango with Duriel again. This goes extremely well, as I'm able to just tank him with all this life leech I have with my insane damage. He drops a unique Sallet, which is one of my favorite items in the game, Rock Stopper. This helm is insane when you think about it. 30% faster hit recovery, a bunch of defense, 15 vitality, tri-res, and 10% physical damage reduction. This will go on Durga for now. I realized I totally forgot to kill Radamant after killing Duriel and go kill him real quick before moving on to Act 3. Act 3 starts and I grab the eye and grab the Gidbin. The ring he gives me in Nightmare is actually pretty damn decent. 94 attack rating, 2% mana leech, 16 lightning resist, and 1 damage reduction. In the Flayer dungeon, a small charm drops, and I got excited at first. I love small charms with life and resist, but this one rolled pretty low. 5 life, 3% cold resist. I'll still use it as it's useful, but it's not as exciting as a good roll. Oh shit! Fanaticism, little dudes. Okay, phew. Got the brain. Let's get the hell out of this hellhole. I do some lower Kurast farming and 2 small charms dropped. One ended up being a 15 life small charm. Let's go! I also got a Hell Rune, which I used a few runs later. I killed the champion pack, and a freaking Tal's Helm drops. I am way too low to use this right now, but all the life it has, 10% dual leech, and 15 to resist all is beautiful on a helm right now. I can't wait to put this bad boy on. I grab the heart, slap the council and Travincal, which nothing crazy happens. Now we fight Mephisto. As you can see, I'm up to 732 life, and I'm feeling a bit more beefy. 100% beef, 0% tofu, baby. My damage is impressive when I hit, but my attack rating is a bit ass. I don't have Blessed Aim anymore. I killed Mephisto without too much of a problem. A rare armor dropped, which is an upgrade for me. 37 life is very welcome, and 20 cold resist is a nice bonus. I'm now up to 818 life, and I find Iswal in the Plains of Despair. He is a joke this round. He has no damage like always, and I'm hitting him like a freight train. He dies, I get my 2 skill points, I move on. I take down Hephasto the Armor and do my Nightmare Forge quest. The highest rune you can get is an rune. I got an rune! This would be amazing to put in my Tal's Helm for 30 resist all total. I craft some blood gloves for more life leech and some life on them and crushing blow. Got lucky, got a little bit of lightning resist on them too, which is cool. Diablo in Nightmare is a bit spicy. If you didn't know this, in normal mode, his lightning hose attack can hit you from like an inch from his face until max range. In Nightmare in Hell, his lightning hose cannot hit you if you're within melee range of him. It's kind of a bug, and you get to avoid a lot of big damage. His lightning hose attack does most damage out of all of his attacks, and it's half lightning, half physical. You can actually block it as well with a shield, which is good to know. The Lord of Terror meets his end with no great loot to speak of. I move on to Act 5. I start Act 5 and make my way up the bloodied foothills and find a set plated belt. I'm excited as hell because I know it's Saigon's belt, and that will give me the 2 set bonus on the gloves. Saigon's belt also has 20 life, which is awesome, and 20 fire resist. The 2 set bonus on the gloves will give me the 30% increased attack speed I talked about earlier, and then the 2 set bonus from the set gives me 10% life leech. I kill Shank the Overseer and get my socket quest. I start farming Eldritch again, just like in normal mode. This just is such easy EXP, and a unique bearded axe drops. This axe is Spell Steel, which is an amazing utility item. It has charges of teleport, which will be useful for navigation, and it has charges of Decrepify, which is the most overpowered curse in the entire game for fighting bosses. I find a Grand Charm with 23 life and use my socket quest to punch a hole into my Tal's mask. I throw my rune in there. I get to Anya in the Frozen River, and she's still ungrateful like always and gives me a crappy rare. The Ancients in Nightmare are much rougher than normal mode. Modok goes down very quickly. Talik is immune to fire, which I don't really care about since I'm melee and do physical damage. I end up killing all 3 of them, and I never lose my bear or my mercenary once. It was pretty easy, just took a bit of time. Alright, time to get my second title. I go on to fight Nightmare Bale and start chunking his life like crazy between my crushing blow and my mercenary's crushing blow. He ends up killing my bear and my oak sage a few times, but other than that, the fight was pretty straightforward and not too scary. The drops weren't anything great, and there was no upgrades here. Here are my stats finishing Nightmare. I'm level 61 with 1,104 life. I have 330 strength, which is absolutely ridiculous. This feels like a meme at this point. My Fury is doing about 2,000 damage. My Fury attack rating is ass at about 1,700 or so. I have 50% increased attack speed and 40% crushing blow. My resists are 75, 33, 75, 20. My skills are 15 points into Oak Sage, 5 into Bear on the Summoning Tree. I maxed Werewolf, and I have 6 points into Lycanthropy, 4 into Feral Rage, and 14 into Fury. This build is far from ideal, and you'll see how I alter it in a bit. Here's my victory screen announcing that I beat Nightmare, and that I'm now a conqueror. I know my resists and life need some work, so I head back to Lower Kurast and find 15 lightning resist large charm and another 15 life small charm. I start gambling my money away and find these godly 3 Java, 20 IAS gloves, but unfortunately I'm not doing a Javazon playthrough. I also find an 11 strength, 18 light resist, 15 fire resist gloves, which could be useful to fix my resistance problems in hell. I return to Act 1, reset my skills. Let's talk about the new strategy. I was thinking that I need to maximize my life total and create better meat shields for absorbing damage for hell. The stats obviously will all go into strength. Now for the skills, let me pull up a screenshot of how Werewolf works. As you can see on this chart, around level 9, it starts to hit some serious diminishing returns. I feel like instead of maxing it straight away, I'm going to utilize those 11 extra points elsewhere for survivability. I max Fury for damage and attack rating. I get my level 9 Werewolf. I max Oak Sage out for life, and not only helps me, but my Mercenary and my summons as well. I put 3 points into Dire Wolves so I can get the 3 wolves out, and put the rest into Lycanthropy for now. This will give me the most life I can get for this level. Putting points into Dire Wolves gives more life for my bear than putting points directly into bear. It also gives the Dire Wolves more life as well, so putting points there is the best bang for my buck in terms of getting better meat shields. I was in the Worldstone Keep and noped the fuck out of there because of souls. I hit level 66 and finally was able to wear my Tal's mask, and that gave me the balls to go into hell. I enter hell at level 66 with 355 strength, 1,402 life, 48 resist fire, 18 resist lightning, 48 cold resist, and negative 10 poison resist. My Fury attack rating is even lower now at 1470-ish. I had a close call in the Den of Evil, so this is not a great start. I kill Corpse Fire and finish the quest for my skill point. I use the cube socket recipe on a normal Hyperion Spear, which is an elite base, that rolls 3 sockets, which is great. I make Malice in the Spear for my Mercenary and replace the Strength Runeward Lance. Went back to Nightmare and did some Nightmare Cows for gear, since I had my ass handed to me in the Den of Evil. I find a 14 life Grand Charm, which will work for now. I gamble some money away and find this cool 2 to Curses, 16 Dexterity, 40 life amulet. If I ever need Dexterity and life in the future instead of 20 resist all, this could be a nice change up. I also get these godly boots gambling with 30% faster run walk, 21 to fire resistances, and 10 to poison resist, and 24 magic find. With a few upgrades, I am now more confident to take on Hell. I make my way through Act 1 and I find Hell and Dariel, and myself and the crew take her down bit by bit. Per usual, no great drops, just the crest reward, and I move on to Act 2. I get to the maggot lair, and I'm more frustrated than Ray Charles doing a word search, as the swarms are immune to physical, so Durga with his holy freeze aura has to whittle them down bit by bit with cold damage. I grab the staff from Coldworm the Burrower and run away. The Claw Viper Temple, I cheese this by using my Spell Steel Axe and teleporting over to the amulet and leaving. Hell Duriel was a good fight. I had to resummon my bear a few times, but he never killed Durga, and with my crushing blow, he went down fairly efficiently. Act 3, I almost died to a Thorn Hulk right away. I found a badass Colossus crossbow and made the Insight Runeward in it just for shits and giggles. I knew I couldn't equip it with a 77 dexterity requirement, but I wanted to see the damage on it, and the runes are common enough I didn't mind burning them. I start trying to farm the Hell Countess, and she drops a Ko-rune. I unleash a number 2 in my Depends and run to town as fast as I can. I want to create the Hustle Runeward, so I farmed Nightmare and got this Shale Rune. Then I went back to normal Countess and farmed Eld Rune. I used the Unsocket Cube recipe, which is Hell Rune, Scroll of Town Portal, and the item. It clears the sockets of the item so I can use it again. I throw Shale, Ko, Eld in the Hyperion Spear, and rolled 195% enhanced damage, which is 5% off perfect. Durga will do much better damage now. Also, with the level 1 Fanaticism, that'll help me by giving me 25% enhanced damage and 14% increased attack speed, and also will give me some attack rating as well. I head back to Act 3, grab the brain and the heart without too much of a problem. I almost eat shit getting out of there from a random bat, and I have to save and exit. I never farmed Lower Kuros, but I got a Gull Rune from a super chest just walking through. In hindsight, I should have farmed it some more to get some better gear. The council fight in Travincal was nutty. First up was Toork Ice Fist, and he had Stone Skin and Dual Element Enchanted. I let my summons tank, and I kept sneaking punches in when I could. Then I fought Gelub Flamefinger, who had Stone Skin and extra strong effects with Fire Enchanted. He was easier to kill, but I still had to be careful. Lastly was Ismail Vilehand, who had extra fast, cursed, and teleportation. We did the most damage to him, but cursed can be scary as everything will deal double damage to you. Hell Mephisto I was a little worried about. He can do some decent burst elemental damage if you're not careful. I started laying into him using my Fury skill, and resummoning my wolves when they died. My mercenary Durga got close to dying a few times, but he never actually died, which was pretty cool. No great loot, went straight through the portal, on to Act 4. Alright my dudes, we got 3 big fights left. We got Hell Diablo, Hell Ancients, and Hell Baal. This challenge seems doable, and the end is near. I can do this. I enter the Chaos Sanctuary, ready for my battle with Diablo. I quickly learned it wouldn't be an easy task to even get to him. The Doom Knights, Oblivion Knights, and Venom Lords are slapping me around, and I'm slowly whittling my way through them. Let's talk strategy for the rest of the run while you see me fight the Seal bosses. I'm going to keep pushing with my Holy Freeze Mercenary, and my 3 Wolves and my Bear. I have good damage, but crappy attack rating. I'm not going to immediately address the attack rating issue. I'm hoping I find a decent Grand Charm with 90 plus attack rating on it to help my problem. The goal is to beat Diablo and get to Ancients and Baal as fast as possible. I know I'm close to beating this run, and I want to be done, and I have this under my belt. Hell Diablo wasn't too bad. I used my summons to absorb his damage, and my mercenary died a few times. I revived him, and we got Diablo killed in a decent time. Crushing Blow is amazing against bosses. I made it to Act 5. There are 15 acts in a hardcore solo self-found playthrough, and this is Act 15 of 15. Let's do this. I almost died in the Crystalline Passage. I found a white Elder Staff in the Glacial Trail. I used my socket quest in Hell to put 4 sockets in this and made the Insight Rune Word. This is a massive damage spike over my exceptional base Bone Snap. I just need some dexterity to use it. I put on that 16 dexterity, 40 life amulet that you saw me get earlier gambling. Thank goodness I saved this thing. Now we fight the Hell Ancients. Modok spawns Holy Shock Aura with extra strong. Korlik spawns with magic resistance, cold enchanted, and Talek spawned with spectral hit extra strong. This is doable as there's no cursed, no conviction aura, no might aura, no fanaticism aura. Hey wait, I actually just made a video about this last week. I'll put the video in the upper right hand corner of the screen if you haven't watched it yet. So yeah, last week was a little bit of foreshadowing. Usually I throw like 30 potions on the ground before the Ancients fight, but I forgot this time. My plan was to start hammering damage into Modok as he's the weakest of them and turn it into a 2v2. My mercenary stays alive for most of this Ancients fight. Korlik ends up being the easier target and I take him down instead. Now I just have Modok and Talek, which both have the extra strong affix. My mercenary is still alive and all of my summons. I am completely out of healing potions, and this is why you should never do Ancients when you're tired. My little brain said, hey, if you use Feral Rage, you can life leech to full in no time. Instead of exiting the Ancients and trying again, I tried to run around and find an opportunity to hit them to get some life back. And I get to low life, and boom, got slapped. Hey, I'm happy I made it this far with a strength-only hardcore playthrough, but I should have grinded a few more levels and some gear and played the Ancients fights better. You should always throw a bunch of potions on the ground for if you need them mid-fight. I'm going to have to redo this strength-only druid another time, but for now, I'm going to move on to the next challenge that you all suggested for me. Thanks so much for watching this video. It was fun to play through and create for you all. If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button so you can check out my video next week. I release videos every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you don't want to miss them. On to the next one. Z out. Peace!